Surely I'm with you always, says the Lord. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burnt. He will never leave you nor forsake you. The Lord watches over our coming and our going. The Lord is with us in every season. Hi everyone, and welcome to Let's Win, where you will receive God-filled encouragement that will help you live and lead with a victory mindset. This morning, as I was just spending time with the Lord, I was sitting outside and it was a misty morning, and I felt so reminded about the fact that there are seasons. Have you been feeling the seasons change a little bit? Cold in the mornings, cooler in the evenings. There's definitely a change coming, but I was so reminded of the fact that God is in every season and that God is with us in every season. The book of Ecclesiastes reminds us that to everything there is a season, and we know there are some seasons of great intensity where life is fast-paced and we're hard at work, and there are seasons of harvest which still requires work and gathering. There are seasons where we wait for the rain, knowing that what we've put in will sprout up. And there are seasons where we can sit back and enjoy the fruit. And there's seasons of rest, and there's seasons of preparing the ground and planting the seeds. Seasons, and this is the incredible thing I sat realizing this morning, that seasons are completely dependent on our position relative to the sun. If you know a little bit about geography, and if you did it at school somewhere, you would know that because of the Earth's tilt and because of the fact that the Earth moves around the sun, the Earth experiences season. And what an incredible picture that is, physically and in the natural, but also just for us spiritually. Can you imagine if the earth stood still or didn't move around the sun? We wouldn't have seasons and life would not be possible. You would have certain parts of the world that would experience one season throughout the year, and they would either be burnt or scorched to death, or you would have countries where there'd be winter all the time and nothing would be able to grow. So it's completely vital for us as an earth, as an existence, as God created it to be, to go through seasons and always relative to the sun. So just in thinking about how incredible that is, my life goes through seasons. And it is in such perfect harmony and in such divine, necessary order when my life is rotating around the sun. In other words, the Son of God, Jesus Christ. When I'm surrounding my life around Him, around the Son, my life follows a divine order, a rhythm that is dependent completely on Him, on His process, on the seasons that come into my life. They come and they go, and they follow one after the other, but all focused on Him. And I thought that was just such an incredible picture of the natural and in the spiritual, how we can rest in God's process, rest in how He's created things to be. I've never seen nature anxious about the next season or wondering which season is coming next. You don't have animals or whatever wondering, is it now summer or winter next? What is happening? There's just this rest and this harmony, this resting in that there's a divine order. And in the same way, we can rest in that. Each season has purpose, and all seasons work together. The one follows the other one for a reason. And if we just look in nature, in the physical, spring is there for renewal and growth. It's the reset, it's the beginning, it's the restart after the winter. Summer is there for optimal energy and optimal growth and maximum growth and production. Summer is where life produces and multiplies. And autumn is often a time of harvest and also preparation for the winter. You'll see that's where harvest happens, where the seeds are gathered for the winter and where animals store up their fat deposits for the winter to come. And in so in our lives, there's seasons where we need to gather for the season to come. And in winter is this time of rest, where everything just locks down and it slows down, and often it's a time of restoration where the ground is restored. It allows rest, protection, and reset. And we can't continue going in one season. We can't continue going at the same pace for something and going at the same intensity. We'll burn out, and the Lord has put this divine structure in place in our lives and in nature to reset us back to a process. Now, something I've just noticed in my own life is how often the enemy wants to come and he wants to disrupt, or he wants to rob from something special that happens within a season. And often I would be going strong, fully paced, like hard at work. And then the week that follows after a couple of weeks of hard work, I feel like I struggle to switch off. I almost feel guilty for not going at that same intensity. And I've thought about this, and I felt like, the enemy wants to come in and disrupt us and rob that peace and that rest that is due for that season that we need to be embracing so that we can run hard again. So often he comes and he puts guilt, and he just comes and doesn't want us to go into what the Lord has for us in that season, or he uses guilt in a season of hard work, so you'd even feel guilty then about the long hours or the hard hours that you're putting in, and perhaps neglecting something else, and it uses guilt there. So recognize the season and just close the door on the enemy when he tries and sows guilt or fear in that season where you're at. A while back, I wanted to share this story, and I was reminded of it this morning. A couple of months back, I just been struggling a lot with the monthly seasons of my life, and because we're ladies here, and I thought this could actually be really encouraging to you. I received such a personal encouragement from the Lord regarding these emotional cycles in my monthly cycles. I had really bad lows in terms of mood swings, and it got to a point where it disrupted my life, disrupted very deep emotional, spiritual things, and I had a very low point somewhere towards the end of the last year, where I was overwhelmed with fear, because I realized I cannot do this again next month. I can't go through this in the same way. And it had also progressively been getting worse. And one Sunday after the service, I had two of my really close friends that we just prayed. They prayed together with me, and we brought it to the Lord and asked Him. And I remember going home that evening and saying, God, I only want you to grip this situation. I wasn't willing to go for any other supplementation or whatever, because I knew my body doesn't react well on those things. And the crazy thing with these mood swings, we know them so well. They would just come out of nowhere and evaporate out of nowhere. There would be no significant reason. It would just come and it would just go, gone and yeah. But in that few days, it was just wrecking, destruction. Wasn't good. And anyway, I brought it to the Lord and I said, God, you are my only option here. You are the only one that I'm willing to give this to. I don't want to go to this or that, or turn to this or that. And the Lord is so faithful. In that time, He showed me such a clear picture, and this is actually how I want to bring it into the seasons. He gave me such a clear picture. I saw a picture of myself walking in the mountains, walking on a hiking trail. Now, he knows this is my soft spot in my life. This is my happy place. But I saw a picture of me just walking in the mountains, and I had a backpack, but the backpack was empty. And in front of me, I had to climb out this massive hill, this steep incline. I had to get to the top of this mountain. It was part of the route. But I had nothing on me, and I could see in the picture I was depleted. I had no water, I had no energy bars, no snacks, nothing in my backpack. And I was needing to make out this top of the hill. And the Lord had just showed me in that time how every week where I hit this so bad, how depleted I actually was just in the natural and in the circumstances surrounding that week. And he made it so clear that I can't go into this season of this month with nothing in my backpack. And he showed me how to fill this backpack. He gave me such physical, such tangible things that I need to fill this backpack with. Spending time with him, not eating sugar. There was rest and exercising in that time, and not going into any serious conversations, not making any life-changing decisions in those weeks and those days, and just making sure my backpack is full with good things and specific types of food. And amazing is really now 4 months later, I have never, not once, had that same experience as I had when I hit that ultimate low in that month. I've not had that again. I've been so aware, and the Lord's been reminding me. I've actually just gone out and physically also put reminders on my calendars. Fill up your backpack, and I go to the Lord and I say, Lord, I'm bracing myself for this week. Come fill me up. And why I was reminded of that, in certain seasons we have downtime seasons where it's a season of rest, but it's so necessary that in that season of rest that we fill up our backpack, because there might be a steep climb ahead, there might be a winter season coming ahead, but the Lord in His grace and in His kindness and in His goodness never leaves us, never forsakes us. And He says, come, I'll show you, and we'll climb this hill together. Here, I give you what you need. I give you the banana. I give you the energy. He replenishes our stores. He replenishes our spirit. He replenishes our soul. The most important thing is that our faces are always turned to the sun, like a sunflower. I drove past some sunflowers in the week, and they were all drooping because it was still early morning. The sun hadn't come up yet. And I know, have you ever seen how they just, when the sun comes up, their heads tilt towards the sun? In the same way that the seasons are dependent on the sun, we become dependent on God in our lives, on His voice, because He is constant. He is always the same. He is our constant. The sun never moves. It's us that directs our life around the sun. And in Revelation 22, we also read that He is the tree of life, and He bears fruit in every single season. He has 12 fruit. You can go read it. It's an amazing picture as well of just the consistency of God, and the fact that He has fruit for every season, and that we drink from this river of life. We eat from this tree of life. We have access to the one that is constant. Even though we go through seasons of life, He is constant. That's why we can always turn to Him. Now, one more thing about seasons I also just want to encourage us with. I've seen in the body, or even in marriage, often when one person might be having a good day and the other person, or good week, and the other person might be having a really low week, how often we can feed each other off from the season that we're in. If I'm feeling like, I've got apples for you, and the other one is saying, I'm thirsty, like it's been a dry season. You get to nourish each other, and within the body, within the church, we get to eat from each other and enjoy the benefits of being part of the body in different seasons. And it's just beautiful how God's created it like that, and how He's ordained it and just put it into motion right from the beginning of time. It's God's grace and God's kindness that we get to experience these seasons. And I want to encourage you, if you've had just a season of long hours, of maybe sacrifice and hard work and hard plowing, the ground's been dry and hard, and you've been faithful with what you've been given, faithful with that little, and the Lord is so faithful with you, with your heart. So if you've been faithful with a little, you will be faithful. You will be entrusted with more. Faithful with little, faithful with much. I feel that's the Lord's encouragement this morning. If you've been faithful in the season that you're in, know that the next season is rolling over in the right time, in God's perfect time. Trust in Him. Keep your life absolutely focused around God. Rotate around Him. I want to say, don't take your eyes off of Him. Rotate around the sun. And the order of our lives is divine, and in His good plan, in His motion, in His intent, His perfect intent. I just wanted to, just really encourage you with that this morning. Seasons are normal. Seasons are purposeful. Seasons are temporary. God is constant, always. I trust that this has encouraged you. Friends, let's win together today and for the rest of this week. Bless you.